The notification sound cut through the silence of my home office like a blade. One simple ping that would change everything. I glanced at my phone, expecting another work email, but instead saw Stephanie's Instagram notification. My wife of 2 years tagged in a post that sent a chill down my spine. There she was, arms wrapped around Derek Patterson, the fitness influencer she'd been working with for the past 3 months. The caption read, "Upgraded hashtag new chapter, hashtag blessed life." I stared at the screen, my software developer brain processing the data like code. Stephanie wore the red dress I'd bought her for our anniversary. The same dress she claimed was too fancy for our dinner last month. Derek's muscular arm pulled her close, both of them grinning at the camera with the kind of happiness that should have been ours. My hands didn't shake. They should have, but they didn't. Instead, I screenshot the image, noting the timestamp, 2:47 p.m. Stephanie was supposed to be at work until 5. I walked to our bedroom, opened her laptop, and logged into her email using the password she thought I'd forgotten. Her calendar showed a different story than the one she'd been telling me. Business meeting with Derek appeared every Tuesday and Thursday for the past 2 months. Today's entry simply read, "Derek all day." The evidence unfolded like a debugging session. Instagram messages, deleted but recoverable through her synced laptop. "Can't wait to be done with this charade," she'd written 3 days ago. "Dan's so boring. He doesn't even notice I'm gone." Derek's response, "Soon, babe. Just need to secure that brand deal first. Your husband's connections might be useful." I sat back in her chair, surrounded by the life we'd built together. Wedding photos on the nightstand. Her makeup scattered across the dresser I'd assembled. The mortgage papers we'd signed last year still filed neatly in our shared folder. Everything made sense now. Her sudden interest in fitness photography, the late nights, the new lingerie I'd assumed was for me, the way she'd started her phone conversations in another room. But what struck me wasn't heartbreak. It was clarity. Pure, cold clarity. I opened my laptop and began typing. Not a confrontation email, not a divorce demand. Something else entirely. By the time Stephanie came home at 10 p.m., smelling like Derek's cologne and spinning another story about client emergencies, I had a plan. "Hey, babe," Stephanie called, dropping her purse by the door. "Sorry I'm so late." Derek's shoot ran over, and then we had to review all the content strategies. I looked up from my laptop, maintaining the same expression I'd worn for 2 years of marriage. "No problem. How'd it go?" "Great, actually." She avoided my eyes, heading straight for the shower. "We're really building something special with his brand. I'm sure you are." The next morning, while Stephanie slept off her guilt, I made 3 calls. First, to Tom Bradley, my attorney from the home purchase. Second, to my old college roommate Mike, who now worked in digital marketing. Third, to a private investigator named Sarah Chen, who specialized in infidelity cases. Tom's office smelled like leather and disappointment. He'd handled enough divorces to recognize the look in my eyes before I said a word. "Adultery isn't grounds for much in California," Tom explained, sliding a folder across his mahogany desk. "Community property state. Best case scenario, you keep your separate assets and split everything else 50-50. What about her business?" She built her client base using my industry connections. "Harder to prove, unless you have documentation showing you directly facilitated those relationships." I smiled. Tom had no idea how detailed my documentation habits were. "I need 6 weeks," I said. "Can you prepare everything but hold off filing?" Tom leaned back in his chair. "Dan, I've seen this before. Whatever you're planning, revenge usually costs more than it's worth." "Not this kind." Mike met me at Murphy's Pub that afternoon, a dimly lit place where tech workers complained about management and marriage. He ordered his usual IPA while I stuck to water. Clear thinking required sobriety. "You look like hell," Mike said, studying my face. Everything okay with Stephanie? Define okay. I showed him the Instagram post. Mike whistled low. Damn, brother. I'm sorry. What are you gonna do? Research. You know Derek Patterson's brand? FitLife Derek? Yeah, he's got like 200,000 followers. Does those motivational workout videos? Why? What would happen if his image got tarnished? Say, some unflattering information came to light? Mike's expression shifted. He'd known me since freshman year, understood my capacity for systematic thinking. Influencer economy's brutal. One scandal can destroy years of work. Brands drop you, followers unsubscribe, algorithms bury your content. Hypothetically, what kind of information? Depends. Financial irregularities, inappropriate behavior, fake credentials. The audience wants authenticity. Prove someone's fake, and they're done. I nodded, filing away every detail. Sarah Chen operated out of a small office above a Korean restaurant, but her reputation was spotless. She specialized in gathering information that courtrooms and divorce attorneys found useful. Standard package is surveillance, financial records, communication logs, she explained, fingers dancing across her keyboard. But you look like you want the premium service. Everything. I want to know how he takes his coffee, where he banks, who he owes money to, and every lie he's ever told about his credentials. That's thorough. Expensive, too. I handed her a check. Money's not the issue. Timing is. I need everything in 4 weeks. And your wife? Focus on Derek first. Stephanie's patterns I already know. 3 weeks later, my phone buzzed with Sarah's message. Package ready for pickup. Her manila folder was thick with possibility. Derek Patterson, 29, from Phoenix. Real name, Derek Paulson. He'd changed it for brand purposes after his third personal training business failed. Currently claiming to be a certified nutritionist, a lie. His certificate came from an online course that cost $99. More interesting was his financial situation. Derek owed $47,000 in back taxes, $23,000 in credit card debt, and was 3 months behind on his Range Rover payments. His FitLife brand generated decent social media income, but most of it went to maintaining his image, expensive gym memberships, supplements, designer workout clothes. The photographs Sarah included showed Derek's real routine. While he posted workout videos at high-end gyms, he actually trained at a basic 24-hour fitness. The expensive equipment in his videos belonged to locations he visited briefly, filming content in rental slots. But the prize was his private communication with supplement companies. Derek promoted products he didn't use, claiming results he'd never achieved, pushing overpriced vitamins to his mostly female audience while privately calling them desperate middle-aged housewives. I had everything I needed. Phase 1 began that Thursday morning. Derek's biggest sponsor was Vital Boost, a supplement company targeting the female fitness market. Their brand manager, Jennifer Walsh, had built her reputation on partnering with authentic influencers. I created an anonymous email account and sent Jennifer a carefully curated package. Screenshots of Derek's private messages about his audience, documentation of his fake nutritionist credentials, photos showing the discrepancy between his claimed workout locations and reality. The subject line read, "Concerning information about Derek Patterson partnership." By Friday afternoon, Derek's latest Vital Boost campaign had vanished from his feed. Phase 2 targeted his credibility directly. Using the technical skills that built my software career, I created a website called fitnessinfluencerfacts.com. Professional design, credible sources, detailed investigation into various influencers' claims. Derek got his own special section. Tax records showing his failed businesses, screenshots of his fake credentials, a timeline proving he'd lied about his transformation story. The before photos he claimed were from 3 years ago were actually from 8 years ago, taken when he was recovering from a knee surgery that had nothing to do with fitness. I promoted the website through targeted ads on Facebook and Instagram, reaching Derek's demographic. The algorithm did the rest, feeding the content to people who'd shown interest in his posts. Derek's follower count started dropping, first by hundreds, then thousands. The comments on his posts shifted from admiration to skepticism. Is this stuff about your fake credentials true? Why did VitalBoost drop you? Explain the tax documents on fitness influencer facts. Derek's response was predictable. He deleted negative comments and posted a video claiming he was being targeted by jealous haters. This only made things worse. The internet hates nothing more than obvious damage control. Meanwhile, Stephanie remained oblivious. She still left for her Derek meetings twice a week, still spun the same stories about brand partnerships and content creation. Her Instagram stories showed expensive dinners and shopping trips she claimed were business expenses. I played the loving husband, asking about her work, expressing interest in her projects. She lied to my face with increasing confidence, probably assuming I was too absorbed in my software projects to notice her deception. She had no idea I was orchestrating her lover's professional destruction. 2 weeks later, Derek's empire was crumbling. His follower count had dropped to 130,000. Major supplement brands had severed ties. His YouTube channel faced demonetization after multiple copyright strikes I'd strategically reported. But the real blow came when Sarah delivered phase 3 of my plan. Derek's wife, she said, sliding another folder across her desk. Linda Patterson, married 4 years, works as a nurse at Cedars-Sinai. She has no idea about the affair. Wife? The word hit me like cold water. Oh yes, they keep it quiet for his brand image. Single fitness influencer sells better than married one. She doesn't appear in any of his content, uses her maiden name at work. I stared at Linda's photo. Pretty, tired-looking, probably worked long shifts to support Derek's failing businesses while he played single influencer online. She deserves to know, Sarah said quietly. That evening, I crafted a careful email to Linda Patterson. Professional, respectful, devastating. I included the Instagram post that started everything, screenshots of Derek and Stephanie's private messages, and photos from their various business meetings around the city. The subject line read, "Information about your husband, Derek." I hit send at 11:47 p.m., while Stephanie slept beside me after another late-night editing session. Linda's response came the next morning. Thank you. I suspected but needed proof. This explains so much. By Thursday, Derek's world exploded. Linda had confronted him with evidence, demanded a separation, and frozen their joint accounts. Derek's posts became erratic, angry rants about betrayal and trust. His remaining followers watched a man having a public breakdown. The final piece fell into place Friday afternoon. Derek had been banking on a major partnership with a fitness app company, a deal worth $150,000 that would have saved his career. I'd learned about it through Sarah's research and made sure the company's executives saw fitnessinfluencerfacts.com. They withdrew their offer that morning. Derek's response was a 15-minute live video, drunk and desperate, claiming he was being sabotaged by unnamed enemies. He looked haggard, unshaven, nothing like the polished influencer who'd stolen my wife. Someone's destroying my life, he slurred into his phone camera. They've turned my wife against me, ruined my business relationships, spread lies about my credentials. If you're watching this, you know who you are. This isn't over. I watched from my home office, Stephanie at her desk across the room, editing content for clients who had no idea their social media manager was having an affair with a crashing influencer. Derek seems stressed lately, I said casually. Everything okay with your projects? Stephanie looked up, concern flickering across her face. He's dealing with some personal stuff, jealous competitors, fake news about his business. You know how it is online. Sounds rough. Maybe he should take a break, focus on his marriage? Something in my tone made her study my face. For a moment, I thought she might ask questions. Instead, She turned back to her screen. He doesn't have a wife, she said. Derek's single. That's part of his brand appeal. I smiled. Right, of course. Saturday morning brought the confrontation I'd been orchestrating for weeks. Stephanie was in the kitchen, scrolling through her phone while coffee brewed, when her expression changed. "Oh my God," she whispered. I looked up from my laptop. "What's wrong?" "Derek." She stared at her screen, face pale. Someone leaked information about him being married. His wife posted on Facebook about their separation. The fitness community is going crazy. That's awful. How did that happen? I don't know. He never told me he was married. Her voice cracked. Our business partnership was getting more personal, and he said he was single. Personal how? The question hung in the air like smoke. Stephanie's coffee mug trembled in her hands. "Dan, I need to tell you something." "I'm listening." She set down her phone, finally meeting my eyes. "Derek and we got close during our work together. I thought he was single, and I thought you and I were growing apart, and you've been having an affair." The words hit her like a physical blow. She started crying, the kind of tears that come with being caught rather than genuine remorse. "How did you know?" I pulled out my phone, showed her the screenshot I'd taken weeks ago. "Upgraded, remember?" Nice caption. "Dan, please let me explain. It wasn't supposed to happen. Derek said he understood me in ways you never could. He made me feel alive again, like I was worth something more than being a software developer's wife." "Worth more than our marriage vows?" "That's not what I meant." She reached for my hand. I pulled away. "I know I messed up. But Derek said we had a future together, that his brand was taking off, that we could travel and build something amazing. How's that working out for him now?" Stephanie's tears stopped. Something in my tone finally registered. "What do you mean?" I opened my laptop, navigated to fitnessinfluencerfacts.com, and showed her Derek's dedicated section. Her face went white as she read. "You did this." I exposed the truth. About Derek's fake credentials, his tax problems, his failed businesses, about his wife Linda, who's been supporting his dreams while he played single online. His wife? 4 years married? She works as a nurse while he pretends to be an eligible bachelor for his female followers, including you. Stephanie staggered backward. "No," he would have told me, "we're in love." "Are you? Or were you just another middle-aged housewife buying into his fantasy?" The words hit their target. Stephanie had turned 31 last month, sensitive about age in a way she'd never been before Derek. "You destroyed his career," she whispered. "His life. I revealed who he really is, just like you revealed who you really are." "Dan, we can fix this. I'll end things with Derek. We'll go to counseling. No." The finality in my voice stopped her mid-sentence. "No counseling. No second chances. No working through this. You made your choice when you tagged yourself as upgraded. Where does that leave us?" I closed my laptop, stood up from the kitchen table where we'd shared hundreds of meals over 2 years of marriage. "You're about to find out." Monday morning, I met Tom at his office with a box of evidence that would have impressed a forensic accountant. Bank statements showing Stephanie's secret purchases, credit card records of her hotels with Derek, screenshots of their communications planning their future together. "Jesus, Dan," Tom said, flipping through the documents. "You built a federal case." "I'm thorough. This goes beyond adultery. She used marital funds for the affair, discussed leaving you for Derek, even talked about liquidating joint assets once his brand deal came through." Tom pulled out a calculator, running numbers. "With this evidence, I can argue financial misconduct. You might keep the house, your separate assets, plus damages for her misuse of community property." "What about her business?" "The client list she built using your tech industry connections?" We can make a case for restitution, especially since she was planning to leverage those relationships for Derek's benefit. I signed the papers that afternoon. Tom promised to serve Stephanie by Friday, giving me the week to implement the final phase of my plan. Stephanie's parents lived in Pasadena, conservative Catholics who'd welcomed me into their family with genuine warmth. Her father Robert had given me his blessing before I proposed, even helped with the down payment on our house. I drove to their home Wednesday evening, arriving just as they were finishing dinner. Dan! Stephanie's mother Maria hugged me at the door. What a wonderful surprise. Is Stephanie with you? Actually, I came to speak with you both about Stephanie. The shift in my tone erased their smiles. Robert gestured to the living room, the same place where I'd asked for their daughter's hand 2 years earlier. Is everything all right? Maria asked. I handed them a folder containing select evidence, the Instagram post that started everything. Screenshots of Stephanie's messages about being done with this charade. Photos of her and Derek from Sarah's surveillance. They read in silence, Maria's hand covering her mouth, Robert's face darkening with each page. How long? Robert asked finally. 3 months that I can prove. Maybe longer. Maria started crying. We raised her better than this. She's been lying to all of us, I continued. Derek is married. Stephanie knew they were having an affair, but believed his promises about leaving his wife. What about your marriage? Robert asked. Can you work through this? She chose Derek over me, even planned to liquidate our assets to support his career. I showed them the financial evidence. I've filed for divorce. Robert stood, pacing to the window. I need a drink. Dad never drinks, Maria whispered, her voice trembling. This is destroying him. She's still our daughter, Robert said, returning with a glass of whiskey. But what she's done. It's not the girl we raised. I wanted you to hear it from me before the lawyers got involved. Thank you, Maria said through tears. That means something. I left them with copies of everything, knowing Stephanie would face questions when she visited Sunday for their traditional family dinner. The same dinner she'd skipped twice recently for Derek meetings. Thursday brought Derek's final collapse. His wife Linda had filed for divorce, citing adultery and financial misconduct. The fitness app company publicly distanced themselves from Derek after his drunken live stream went viral. His remaining sponsor deals evaporated, but the final blow came from an unexpected source. Sarah called me with news. Derek's been served with a lawsuit. Remember those supplement companies he promoted with fake testimonials? One of them is suing for fraud. Apparently, several customers got sick following his nutrition advice. How bad? Class action bad. They're seeking damages for false advertising, practicing nutrition without proper certification, and endangering public health. Derek could face criminal charges. That evening, Stephanie came home to find divorce papers on the kitchen table. Her hands shook as she read through Tom's meticulous filing. You're taking everything, she said. I'm taking what's mine. The house I qualified for alone, the savings account you were planning to drain for Derek, the business contacts you were going to share with him. I never actually did that. Only because Derek's career imploded first. Stephanie sank into a chair, aging 10 years in 10 seconds. His wife is divorcing him too. Did you know that? I found out this week. He used both of us. No, Stephanie. You used me to build a life that you threw away for someone who was using you. Derek's a symptom. You're the disease. Don't talk to me like that. Like what? Honestly? She started crying again, but these tears felt different, defeated rather than manipulative. Where am I supposed to go? My parents aren't speaking to me. Derek won't return my calls. I have nothing. You have your business. The clients you built using my connections. Start over. Those clients trusted me because they trusted you. When this gets out, then you'll learn what consequences feel like. 6 months later, I sat in my home office, the same room where I'd discovered Stephanie's betrayal, now peaceful without the weight of deception. Derek had disappeared from social media entirely. Linda took him for everything in their divorce, then moved back to her hometown in Oregon. The supplement lawsuit was proceeding, with Derek facing potential prison time for fraud. Stephanie had tried to rebuild her client base but struggled without my industry connections. She'd moved to a small apartment in Van Nuys, posting occasionally about new beginnings and learning from mistakes. Her parents had slowly reconciled with her, but trust would take years to rebuild. Her last text to me came 3 weeks ago. "I know you'll never forgive me, but I want you to know that Derek wasn't worth destroying our marriage." I was confused and stupid, and I threw away the best thing in my life for someone who never cared about me at all. I'd read it, then deleted it without responding. Mike visited regularly, still processing how methodically I'd dismantled 2 lives without breaking any laws or compromising my own integrity. "Don't you feel bad?" he'd asked last month. "Even a little?" I exposed the truth. Derek was a fraud who hurt people with fake advice. Stephanie violated our marriage vows and planned to steal from our joint accounts. I didn't destroy them. I revealed who they already were. But the planning, the research, the systematic takedown, I'm good at solving problems. This was just a bigger problem than most. The truth was simpler than Mike realized. I didn't feel bad because I'd done exactly what they'd done to me. I'd calculated the cost of their choices and made them pay it. Derek had built his brand on lies and used married women for validation. Stephanie had traded our marriage for excitement and status. They'd both gambled with other people's lives and lost. Now I sat in the house I'd bought with my own credit, surrounded by the life I'd built with my own work, planning a future that belonged entirely to me. No more lies, no more betrayal, no more wondering what secrets were hidden behind familiar smiles. Just peace and the satisfaction of a problem solved completely. My phone buzzed with a notification. A dating app match wanted to meet for coffee. I smiled, closed my laptop, and went to get ready for my future.